Hi, welcome, Spokes, Strokes, and Strides, Kansas City's only radio program focused on cycling, swimming, and running, and it is live on this Wednesday night. Frank Bowl, Miles McMillan. Miles, how are you?
Good deal, Frank. I'm fine. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, we got a jam-packed show lined up for you tonight, so we're not going to waste any time. Our third guest tonight is truly an amazing gentleman from Warsaw, Missouri. The only thing we're going to tell you about him is that he is the fastest man in the world for what he does. That's all we're going to say. If you want to know more, you'll just have to listen as we interview this colorful, funny, and obviously very talented and well-conditioned athlete.
Yeah, he's going to be a trip.
He'll be a trip.
Great
Yes,
story.
All right, welcome back to Spokes, Strokes, and Strides. Miles McMillan and Frank Bowl here, and on the phone, joining us from Warsaw, Missouri, is Jerry Smartt. To put it simply, Jerry's the fastest 79-year-old guy in the world. Last weekend in Columbia, he won his age division in 1,500 meters at the Missouri State Senior Games. Next month, he'll travel to Sacramento to defend his 5,000 and 10,000-meter titles at the World Championships. Jerry, good evening to you, sir. How are you?
Hey, good to hear from you guys.
Well, it's really good to hear from you. Talk to us a little bit about when are you going to grow up?
Yeah, well, I figure I've got another 20 years for sure.
Hey, Jerry, this is Miles. You know, I was reading an article about you, and before 5-Hour Energy drink came along, you drank a special drink to help you get ready for a race and get your blood going. What was that?
Well, of course, 5 Hour is my main one right now.
Right. But before that, you drank something, and I read in a newspaper. Tell us what that was.
Well, it might have been Heineken.
there was a little whiskey involved too, wasn't there?
Oh well, we were training for the 1968 Olympic marathon trials in Colorado, and we ran a lot of miles every day. And for example, we'd run 15 miles before lunch, and then we'd have a couple of whiskeys for lunch, and then run another 15 miles. So, you know, I had we had a high 3-day high there of 90 miles.
Wow.
So, a lot of fun stuff. A lot of fun stuff in this running game.
Yeah, and I bet you didn't have any joint pain either during those runs with that whiskey.
Or you didn't know it if you did.
No,
yeah.
That's right. It was. We were just on cloud 9 there, buddy.
Now, speaking of joint pain, one of the things you attribute to your longevity of running is landing softly on the pavement,
right?
So not to hurt your knees.
That's right.
What's the secret to that?
Well, the U.S. sent a bunch of us to Finland in 1956, and we got hooked up with their Olympic team coach, and he taught us how to land. And we were landing. A lot of us were landing heel first. And he said, "No, you've got to shorten that stride, and so you land on the ball of the foot first, and then the heel touches and push off." See, we kind of we practice that, and it just takes the stress off the knees for one thing.
Yeah, Jerry, and we're talking with Jerry Smartt, 79-year-old from Warsaw, Missouri. Folks, you're never too old. This guy's one of the fastest men in the world. He stays active all the time, keeps him sharp both physically and mentally. You know, you're talking about the heel striking. We're all heel strikers until we're talking a little bit about barefoot runners and then runners who are in these new minimalist shoes, which prevents you from being a heel strike runner, and you end up shortening your stride a little bit. You land on the ball of your foot,
right.
Something that you learned a long time ago.
That's right, 1956.
Yeah.
And so it's paid off because I don't have hip problems or knee problems, and so there you are. You know, if I could just get this word out to as many people as possible.
Well, we're going to get out there to as many as we can. Yeah.
Okay, Jerry. So you're lined up at the starting line, and you're looking across to a young punk like me at 51 and an even more punk Frank Bowl at 64. These young guys looking at you,
yep.
Saying, "Yeah, well, I don't have to worry about this guy." And all of a sudden, you're lapping them on the track. How does that feel?
I love it. Yeah, I love to outrun the young guys.
And really, Jerry, that's part of your motivation, isn't it?
Oh, sure. Yeah. You know, foot racing has been around forever. Of course, I don't weigh very much, so I couldn't play basketball or football. And I remember I had blue blazer with my All-American patch on the pocket, and I had a date. There was a supermarket named All-American in Southern California, and so when I walked in, my date had a young daughter, and the daughter saw this jacket that Mommy, does he work at the supermarket? Deflates the ego quickly.
Yeah,
That's all it
brings
takes.
it on a
Out of the
peg or
mouths
two.
of babes.
Hey, Jerry, do you train by yourself, or do you train with younger runners, or are there other runners near your age group that you train with down there?
That's a problem because there's the only other guys, folks my age are mostly dead. And so
You're not in that category.
yeah, no. So the 50-year-olds that I get to train with once in a while, it gives me a pretty good test, because they've got 30 years on me. And so we go out for a long run. They're just kind of cruising along. But, at 80, I really have to work it. So it's good for me. But
You are unbelievable.
Well, what else is good for you is you sent me some pictures of your training regimes.
Oh.
Dragging around tractor tires,
Yeah.
pushing shopping carts in a Walmart parking lot.
During the winter.
Oh,
with
yeah.
weights in them.
Yeah.
What else you got going on down there in Warsaw?
The deal with me pulling that ATV tire, I was doing that one day down here, and I saw some friends who were out for a walk, and they were coming toward me. And so we got close enough to visit for a minute. They said, "We thought you're walking your dog." Damn, here I was.
And they said it just like that.
Just like that, Yeah.
No, the dog was walking you because it was behind you.
Yeah.
That is classic. Hey, you're talking about your training techniques. You're running 8 miles a day now. Do you run 7 days a week? Do you take a break at all, or do you just run one pace one day and maybe a slower pace the next?
Well, I try to go, let's just say, cross-country pace, which would just be an easy pace one day. And the next day I would do some short repeats at a faster pace. This morning, I'm out twice a day. So this morning, out early, I did repeat 550 yards. I have it measured on the roads. And I spray paint, marks all over the roads around here. And
MoDOT must love you.
yeah. Well, it's Corps of Engineer property, and they never have complained. So
Yeah.
on something like that, I would run the first quarter mile, which would be 440 yards of the 550, at about a 10-minute pace.
Mm-hmm.
And then that last 110, I really blast it.
Right.
Because in a race, I've got some big races coming up. I just have to do what I can to try to get ready. I just don't have anyone else to train with.
Yeah, right. Now, did you lift weights at all?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No.
Did you at any time?
Oh, when I was an elite, back in the 50s, I did some, but it wasn't, at 120 pounds, the guys were lifting me.
You're right about that.
Place yourself on the barbell
and-
stand.
That's right.
You've been blessed genetically. I know you know that.
Oh, yes.
And I know, you've been running since you're 15 years old. Most of us, if we had started doing the things that you had done at 15, we'd be having some issues with joint pain, feet,
That's true. That's
plantar fasciitis,
Surgeries, yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
Yep.
And you have avoided most of that. What do you attribute it to besides genetics? Is there anything? Have you ever been injured, seriously injured?
Whiskey.
Yeah, I know that.
That's it. No, no injuries. No, not debilitating injuries.
Right.
Just
Like you have no IT band problems. You don't have any ankle problems or arch problems.
No. Well, no, the arches went flat in the 50s. So I just, just flat feet. That old thing in the Army years ago, back in the 40s.
Yeah.
If a guy had flat feet, they didn't take him. I mean,
And here you are still running at 79.
So
didn't make
speaking
any
of the
sense.
military, you were in Japan with
Right.
the Air Force,
Yeah.
and you paid kids to pace you on their bike.
Right.
How did you arrange that?
well, I would go out from the main gate and go out for a long run out on the roads there in Japan, and the kids would be out on their bicycles. And so I spoke to some Japanese, and so I would just ask them to go at a certain speed on their bikes, and I would do repeats that way, and then for a couple of 100 yards, and tell them. Then I would tell them to hold, back off, and they would do that. And we'd go for mile after mile, just miles and miles. So then when we got to the main gate, they couldn't go in, of course. So I just told them to wait there, and I went to the dorm and got some money and came back and gave them some yen and Japanese money and thanked them and everything.
Wow, that's terrific. We're talking with Jerry Smartt from Warsaw, Missouri, 79 years old. This last weekend in Columbia, he won his age division in 1,500 meters and beat a lot of younger runners at the Missouri State Senior Games. Next month, he'll be in Sacramento to defend his 5,000 and 10,000 meter titles at the World Championships. Jerry, you are an inspiration to all of us, and we are, we're going to really try to follow you here, and we're going to have an update after you get done next month.
That'd be great.
For your 5,000 and 10,000 meter. We'll probably have you back on again. Let me ask you a question. Are you a native Missourian?
No, I'm a Texan.
Oh, and how'd you end up Warsaw?
The gal I dated in 1953 in Colorado.
The same one had the kid?
Yeah, at college there. We got back together after 33 years apart.
Oh my gosh, that's an incredible story.
Yeah,
Does the daughter still think you work at the grocery store?
Yeah.
Jerry, best of luck to you. We will be following you, and we'd love to talk to you towards the end of the summer and see how things are going.
Good. I've got 4 events out there in California.
Okay, what are the 4?
I've got the 5,000, 10,000, 1,500, and 2,000 meter steeplechase.
Oh man, steeplechase.
So, yeah, it's a rough one.
Isn't that when you jump over water?
Yeah, you have to go over the hurdles. Is there much of a spread between the 4 events? How many days do you have?
Well, it's about a day in between each one.
Each one, okay.
So that helps a little bit.
And then you got tired. Then you got time to drag that tire around on those days off.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Hey, Jerry, best of luck to you, pal. And thanks so much for joining us. We'll have you back on when you come back home.
Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
You bet. God bless. You talk about inspiration.
I'll tell you what. I am never waking up thinking I have an ache and pain anymore.
79 years old.
Runs twice a day.
Unbelievable. 8 miles.
8 miles, yep. Wow. That's something else.
That's
I want to go down to Warsaw and just watch that guy.
I want to go down and meet the guy.
I want to see him
go
spray
run with
paint
him
the
sometime.
highways. Yeah.
I'm going to go down and run
there.
I'm going to run with him
We'll do a
road
first
trip.
person, right?
When he comes back, I'll go down. We'll do it, and we'll do it from. I'll call in. We'll do it from there.
How crazy would that be?
That'd be great.
That'd be great.